Welcome back to our Sangha, our space. And I just want us to check in with ourselves again and just noticing what it felt like during our practice. And for me, I am hungry. So I kept bringing some metta to my stomach. Like, it will be okay. After the talk, I'll feed you. I understand. So it was just beautiful, just how cultivating a practice within what's arising for us in our own like experience. It's just, for me, I just thought that was beautiful to just notice. But welcome, welcome. For those who do not know me, I am Dominique Sade, and this class is called Nurture Your Inner Sanctuary Through Mindfulness. And I just go through my Dharma, just go and talk and offer some insight as well as some loving kindness to not only expression of my experience, but just giving you what I've learned so far while being on this path. So tonight I titled the talk, Bringing Metta In. The practice is the path. The practice is the path. And I want to start with this translation of the Discourse on Love that's been prepared by Thich Nhat Hanh from the Metta Sutta of Sutta Nipata 1.8. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, just want to read just a little bit to help bring us or transition us into tonight's talk. So, Discourse on Love. He or she who wants to attain peace should practice being upright, humble, and capable of using loving speech. He or she will know how to live simply and happily, with senses calmed, without being covetous and carried away by the emotions of the majority. Let him or her not do anything that will be disapproved of by the wise ones. And this is what he or she contemplates. May everyone be happy and safe, and may all hearts be filled with joy. May all beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, invisible or visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. I can just sense this openness, this large area of the heart center just being open to hold all of that in and to also extend all of that out. The level of love and care and patience and compassion and joy and equanimity to just have that all in and out, receiving and giving. So bringing metta in, this heart practice, this ability, this path to awaken the heart. And I believe that this heart practice leads us to compassion and joy and truth and liberation. The last few days for me has been, a lot has been going on. And part of that, I felt the need to really strip down and cleanse this space. I'm already a minimalist, but I wanted to really deeply clean, like get into the cracks, just get into all the details of this apartment and clean it and just kind of like take care of my external environment, my external sanctuary. And when I created that space, cleansing it, what it did for me was invite me to do the same inside. And I was just noticing the experience I was having in this space as it was now newly cleaned. And it felt like I went into retreat. It felt like I went into some deep silence and stillness, not to isolate, but that feeling of solitude. It gave me this invitation to bring metta into the parts that have been neglected, into the parts that I've been avoiding. And speaking of like being in this moment of retreat in my home, I remember when I was on a retreat, my first retreat in 2019, Vipassana retreat. And I remember this feeling, this openness, the first time of feeling my heart opening, awakening, so many tears, so many revelations and just going into memory, going deeper inside and letting things out that needed to be released and then holding myself. Learning how to hold myself. And I feel like that's what retreat can do for us, right? When we go on retreat, I feel like it can help us deepen our own practice that we've already cultivated. And it also can gives us this invitation to explore different practices. And as I cleaned my house and I went into my own solo retreat, it invited me to dive deeper into my metta practice and to stick with that for some time. Now, metta is the Pali word for loving kindness, or friendliness, and excuse me. Okay, sorry. Let me put this on silence. Okay. It was an email that came in. But metta is the Pali translation to loving kindness. And for me, it is this one of many Dharma paths towards truth, healing, liberation, ultimate freedom. And a lot of times for me, for my own experience, what I notice is there's a lot of mindfulness talks. There's a lot of the practice of mindfulness, which to me brings in the wisdom, the insight. Yet also, is it looked at completely differently from loving kindness, where we hold the compassion, the joy, the love, the care? And oftentimes it's spoken about the two wings of practice. And you have on one side the mindfulness and one side loving kindness. And I like to look at the two as the same on different ends of the spectrum. And we need the two to create balance for our practice. And so how do we bring that into our practice, that balance? If we get too caught up in the insight and the intentional qualities, we may lose sight of the love, the compassion. So bringing them together can definitely help us understanding more. And for me, it's as if we're bringing the mind-heart connection, bringing the mind-heart into union. In the Buddhist tradition, there are 4 paths to opening the heart. And this path is called the Brahma Vihara, which is translated by to say divine abodes. And to me, it's thought of these expressions, 4 expressions, as a path to liberating the heart, awakening the heart, opening the heart. And we bring these paths to ourselves. We bring these qualities of opening the heart to people, to all beings, to the world. And it helps us to develop qualities that will bring us to being the highest divine beings as possible. So we have 4 of the Brahma Viharas. And tonight I want to talk about metta. And the rest are karuna, which is also compassion. And we have mudita, which is sympathetic joy or joy for other people. And then you have upekkha, which is equanimity. And so when I look at metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, I look at them and I understand that they're the foundations to bring us closer to the qualities of an awakened heart. And to deepen my understanding, as I look into these qualities as this opening, this path to this open, awakened, wonderful heart of ours, and to understand getting rid of suffering, I took a deeper look into this path, the divine abodes. And it deepened or invited me deeper to explore it more. So when I think of awakening my heart, and I look at the 4 qualities of awakening the heart, metta, which is loving kindness, I think to myself, okay, what does that actually mean? Bringing love and kindness. Okay, bringing care, tenderness, patience. And then when I think of karuna, compassion, I think of when I communicate with others, how I can communicate with compassion. And when I think of mudita, which is sympathetic joy or joy for others, I think of sharing pleasure and sharing this joy with others and being really genuine about other people's happiness. And when I think of upekkha, I think of allowing everything that's happening and remain in balance in it all. This helps me to deepen my understanding of how to bring not only these qualities in as a practice, but also to awaken myself to the highest divine being that I can possibly be. And it starts with the foundation. It starts with metta, bringing metta in. The first one, loving kindness. I experienced so much pain over the last few days. And I reacted to such pain in a way that did bring in suffering for those moments. It was as if I couldn't get out of it. It was as if that this suffering was holding on to me, and I had to find within myself this strength and this will to practice metta, bringing metta into my pain and transforming out of this suffering into deeper care, into responding to this pain, into still looking for or towards others and understanding their own pain, and allowing myself to be balanced in it all. bringing metta in. It all starts with metta. And I had to, in my retreat, in my home, in my solitude, practice metta, practice and awakening the heart while in the state of my said suffering. And that is why I also titled this, The Practice is the Path. The practice is the path. As I bring metta in, I am practicing and walking on this path in all of what I'm feeling. Mm. I look at nature a lot since, I want to say since my silent retreat. I've always been in nature. My dad always take me to the park, and it's just something that it was like his goal to make sure that I wasn't, uh, I guess, occupied by the streets. I come from a neighborhood that wasn't friendly, and he will just always take me away, always take me into nature. And even when went to college, I went upstate and was surrounded by nature. So I've had this connection with nature. But lately, I've been really paying attention to nature. And as I was paying attention to nature, also maybe paid attention to the nature of my inner world. And then just understanding how my cells work, my organs work, how blood is circulating throughout my body, how my bones work, um, my fascias, just everything, and how they work in harmony together. So inside of us, there's this sense of metta happening, right? Everything that's in my body, they know their position, they know what they need to do to keep me functional, and they work in harmony. They work in harmony. They work in harmony to try to heal me from whatever damage I caused to myself. They work together in harmony when I'm sleeping to keep me pumping and going. So essentially, it's innate for us to be caring and loving and compassionate and joyful and balanced in harmony. It's innate. Yet, because of how we've been conditioned and how we've grown up to be, it has to be a practice. We have to practice this every single day, as often as we can, until we rediscover the beauty of an awakened heart. So I have a question. Checking in with yourself for today. How many of you judge yourself today? When did you judge yourself today? During our practice in the beginning, during our 10-minute sit, did you judge your own practice? What I noticed for myself, at least, is that when it comes to bringing this metta to myself fully and deeply, it can be challenging. More challenging than bringing it to someone who's been really, really great to you, right? You want to be so loving and grateful and thankful for the person who's doing good to us. And when it comes to ourselves, we can be so judgmental. We can be so hard on ourselves. So sometimes there's this blockage that can create an obstacle to flowing more into metta and bringing metta in. I was reading from this book, Seven Taoist Masters. So I know it's Tao, but it's all connected. And I want to share two quotes. The heart is the source of the foundation, and the original nature is the prerequisite for building that foundation. Cultivate your heart, for only your original heart can see what it's real. And that is from the book, Seven Taoist Master. And I'll just show it if you're interested. This is what it looks like, by Eva Wong. How can we cultivate or remember or go back to our original nature? Especially since it has been, for most, if not all, contaminated. Our original nature, our heart center, has been contaminated. And how? When we came into this world, we came into this world with that true original nature, organically. That's just what it was. We were already bonding and loving and reaching and receiving and giving. That is our original nature. That is how we came into this world for most of us, if not all. And then over time, the harshness of life, the blows of life, rules and regulations, limitations thrown at us, sometimes even our parents deciding how we should live our lives. And then over time, we carry this wounded child. We carry our wounded child. We carry our wounds and we contaminate or walk with a contaminated heart center. When I was reading this little pocketbook, Thich Nhat Hanh's little pocketbook, so cute. I got this actually, if you're in New York City, I think the bookshop is called Namaste. Super cute. And it speaks about the wounded child inside and how often we walk and navigate on this path, ignoring that wounded child. But as we continue to go through life, and we may develop some patterns that are unhealthy for us, some conditions that are not healthy for us, habits that are not healthy for us. And then we continue to go into these tethered patterns, experiences that kind of seem similar. It's because we're not taking the time to go back to that wounded child. And that wounded child inside of us is going to get louder and louder and louder. And we're going to fall back into patterns that do not serve us when we don't take the time for our wounded child within. I want to share from the little pocketbook. After recognizing and embracing our inner child, the third function of mindfulness is to soothe and relieve our difficult emotions. Just by holding this child gently, we are soothing our difficult emotions and we can begin to feel at ease. When we embrace our strong emotions with mindfulness and concentration, we'll be able to see the roots of these mental formations. We'll know where our suffering has come from. When we see the roots of things, our suffering will lessen. So mindfulness recognizes, embraces, and relieves. And I want to add to that loving kindness, which I stated earlier, that mindfulness and loving kindness go hand in hand. I've experienced the connection with my wounded child, the wounded inner child. And I've also experienced others' wounded inner child. And just to get a little deeper with my talk here, when two beings come together with unhealed, wounded inner child issues, and without both individuals having a strong foundation of practice, explosion can happen. But when both parties understand that they're carrying this wounded inner child and start to develop a practice individually and collectively, bravely, we begin to bring metta in. Bringing metta in. But it starts with the self. Retreat, be in stillness, and be with self. So for tonight's practice, I want us to explore metta for self. And the order of metta, it starts with self. Then, and it can go into a benefactor, a stranger, someone we care about, and neutral person, and all beings. But tonight, I want to solely focus on self. And this can be challenging for some of us. But I know deep down inside, we are brave enough to finally be with ourselves and to hold ourselves and the different layers of ourselves and the different categories, levels, ages, and hold us with compassion. All of us, the little child of us, the adolescents, the adult us, all of it. And we bring metta in. So I feel like when we practice with self and we find it difficult, it could be that facing ourselves, facing the love that we've neglected to give to ourselves can be hard to fathom and hard to accept. But when I think of mindfulness and loving kindness, I also think of this as a practice that offers no judgment at all. And perhaps it's easier for us to give this love to other beings because perhaps we don't understand how to give love to ourselves. Because we don't understand how to give love to ourselves and we haven't been in retreat long enough, in stillness long enough to understand what our being needs and how we give ourselves what we need, the love that we need, first to ourselves, by ourselves, then we have to realize that without doing that, and the lack of that potentially can lead us to accepting, receiving what we perceived as love that is very harmful for us. So starting with ourselves and being forgiven to ourselves, accepting the reality of possibly mistakes just for being human, right? We're human, walking on this path. Yeah, we have principles that we can follow, but we're still human. And that is why we show up to practice, and we practice bringing metta in. We're practicing that tonight. We are worthy of love, divine love, unconditional love. We have to understand how to love ourselves first. Of course, we'll be confused when we think we're receiving love, even though it hurts. Oh, it's the practice that will help us bring more truth and insight to what it is that's arising for us and get into the root of why we're accepting what doesn't bring ease and safety and calmness into our lives. I mean, we are worthy. We are worthy of deeper love. We are worthy enough to bring metta in. So let's bring metta in tonight to ourselves. Are you open for that? I hope you are. So for tonight's metta practice for self, I will offer some phrases. Yet I encourage you to think of phrases for yourself, phrases that will resonate more for you in your self-love practice. Or you may not want to say anything at all. You just want to be with all of that, all of the emotions, all of the feelings, all of the love you're starting to give to yourself on a deeper, deeper level. During this practice, I invite you to explore the depths of the metta practice and what it means to you. So again, let's find our seat and let's get into practice. Wherever you are, I want to start because metta, self-metta can be very challenging for some of us. So let's not dive right deep into it right away, right? Let's soothe ourselves in. So before we close our eyes, let's just look around the room. Let's look at whether you're in a room, in a space, wherever space you're in, just look around. Even if you're in the car, just looking around. If you're outside, looking around and feeling supported by the environment that's holding you in this space right now, that's allowing you to practice with safety right now. You are supported. Coming back to center. And I invite you to soften your gaze, close your eyes, or maybe there was an object that you noticed when you were looking around that brought a smile to your face. If so, you can stare at that during your practice. Whether it's seated on the pillow or on a chair or standing or lying down, just start to feel the ground beneath you. This ground that supports you. Bringing gratitude to the ground that you're able to balance on in whatever position you're in. Noticing where the hands are positioned, where they fall, whether on your lap, wherever they are, just noticing. Notice how they want to just let go and be free. Noticing the shoulders, dropping them down even lower. Just noticing what the body feels like in this moment. And if there are any areas of tension, just use an anchor of breath to just breathe in a sense of calmness in that area. Or maybe the object you're looking at can bring a sense of safety, reminding you that you are safe. And if you need to, just invite in even more support for your practice tonight. Invite in the ancestors, Invite in sacred spirit, Mother Nature, nature in general, remembering the environment that's supporting you, and just reminding yourself that you are not alone. Noticing your body again. This body, although changed as we continue to age, still is the body that you were born with. Your body. Embracing and holding that remembrance that this is your body. Not attached, but recognizing the body that is leading and guiding you on this planet, on this earth. In your mind's eye, I invite you to bring in a picture of yourself as a child, a happy memory of yourself as a child. Maybe you remember a certain hairstyle, your favorite clothing, your favorite place. Remembering your childlike spirit. See your younger self, your child self in front of you. See him and her, this child that you once were, but that still lives inside of you. Just see, looking deeply at your childlike self. As you look at yourself as a child, I invite you to offer loving kindness and care to yourself. And if it feels right for you, I offer these phrases for you to repeat mindfully to your young child self. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. Mhm. Hold in that image of you as a child, a happy child, happy memories of you as a child, and rest in it here in this practice. Seeing yourself and repeating these phrases if it feels right for you. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. Take this image of yourself as a child and then just visualize it, this image, your child self, Go in into your heart center, holding it there. Now, in your mind's eye, bring in an image of yourself as an adolescent. Remembering yourself as an adolescent, and maybe you're feeling some emotions. Maybe you're remembering how energized you were. Maybe you're remembering how alone you were, or sociable, confused. Feel into these times and these moments as an adolescent. And as you bring in these moments, also see your adolescent self in front of you and offer these phrases if it feels right. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. Hmm. Feeling into this moment and allowing yourself to hold your adolescent self and all the emotions. And maybe for more support, calling in your ancestors or nature, remembering the environment that's supporting you. Maybe, like me, you want to put your hands on your heart, just reminding you that you are safe. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. I'll take this image of your adolescent self and bring that image into your heart and holding it there. We transition now into our adult self. Seeing yourself as an adult. The first memory that comes to you, maybe the beginning of your adulthood, or maybe something recently that you experienced as an adult. Now picture yourself as an adult and see your adult self in front of you. Offering this phrase or phrases of your own. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. Allowing these memories, whether they're older memories or recent memories as an adult, bringing it all into your heart. Even the most challenging moments you face, knowing as we transition into adults, the responsibilities that increase, the pressure of life, heartaches, feeling like you're not where you need to be. Just holding all of the emotions, even the light ones. Maybe becoming an adult brought you more light and love. Continue to allow these phrases that I offer, or phrases of your own, to bring in a sense of softness and ease and calmness. Continuing to trust that you are supported. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. Now just thinking and in your mind's eye, seeing your child self, your adolescent self, and your adult self, and bringing it all into your heart space. Bringing them all in. Filling this heart space with those parts of yourself. Bringing them in along with metta. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. Noticing all the emotions. Remembering whatever memories, allowing the memories to come to you. Remembering that you're supported as you do so. Whatever unfolds, you are supported and you are loved and you are worthy of this practice. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. As you bring this into your heart center, noticing what the body feels like. Noticing your breath. Even noticing the quality of your mind. Holding your entire experience in, feeling it all, bringing it all in, and bringing it in with metta. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free. This was a practice of metta for the self, self-love, loving kindness, bringing it all in. And you can stay with this practice for as long as you need, practicing daily, weekly. I invite you to explore this practice deeper, allowing it to be the antidote to despair, suffering. Ashe, I hear the rain coming as it cleanses us in this practice. So in closing, I invite us to extend these phrases to each other. I extend these phrases to all that's been watching. Maybe you want to extend it to me or to other people who've been watching. May we be peaceful. May we be safe. May we be free. May the efforts of our practice here together benefit all beings. all beings all over the world, everywhere. And dedicating the merits of our practice, we extend this to all beings everywhere. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free. I thank you all for your practice tonight. And whenever you're watching, I thank you for your practice. So I enjoy showing up and sharing my insights and sharing my love for this path. And I am so grateful for Southside Liberation for allowing me to be part of the collective healing. And I invite you to practice dana, practice generosity, and offer whatever you can in a form of donation. And you can click the link in Southside Liberation website. There's a donation button there. Okay, and if you don't have a donation, feedback is also welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me. I thank you again for your practice, and may we all be well. Peace.